I got good news and bad news.
Okay.
Okay. You want to go to the bad news first?
Sure.
Okay. The bad news is that we got some MGTG. We gotta hear her voice. All right.
Cool. That's
but
fine.
there's a couple of clips that follow it that are so good. And one of it is, I mean, it was just so I listened to it. I was like, this has got to be in the top 5 greatest things said at any of these congressional hearings ever. I hope I'm not overhyping it. I might be, but for me, fucking loved it. But here is Marjorie Taylor Greene. This for her, she put on extra makeup. She did her hair a little bit more this time because this was her Super Bowl. This is the day.
She did dress up. You're right. I'm
Yep.
like,
I get to go after America's devil.
Yeah.
The guy who's been around for decades, longer than she was even born.
Yeah.
Helping people, trying to discover what he can do to cure disease.
Unbelievable. He didn't do a good job because she's still around.
That is true. But try to do everything he could, which he did, to gather a group of the greatest scientists in the world to quickly and effectively come up with one of the greatest vaccines ever invented in this country. And that is the COVID vaccine, period.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. And this was a hearing. I don't know why we need to have this hearing. I've asked people this before. I'm still not really clear on the answer, but this was a hearing as to whether or not that the COVID came from a lab or it didn't come from a lab. And again, it would be interesting to know, I will concede to that, but why there needs to be a congressional hearing about it. And if we find out that it was a lab leak or it wasn't, what now? I'm not really sure. Do you know? Do you have any idea what the differences would be if you heard it one way or another?
No.
I mean, are we going to go to war with China now? Is that what the...
Yeah, and then a lot of these questions didn't even seem like it had anything to do with where it originated from. So there's that.
Yeah, no, it just basically turned into, this is my chance to shit on a guy that we, for some incredibly unknown, bizarre, and unhinged reason, turning this man into somebody that either to them needs to be in prison or dead.
Right. Yeah. Did you see that they let a guy in from J6 that served some time?
Yeah, and this little clown, him and his little buddy next to him, making faces the whole time behind Dr. Fauci. Sometimes there's part of me that wishes I was there, because I would have turned around and said, hey, you fuck faces. You make one more goddamn face, I'm going to come over there and fucking
how did they get there? How did they get in?
I'm probably invited by a Marjorie Taylor Greene, or that's exactly what it was. And it's just that everything's a clown show for them. Just like when Trump debated Hillary, he had to invite the women that accused Bill Clinton. And, you know, the funny thing is, you know how many people Joe Biden could invite to the debates with Donald Trump that would shake him? But he's just a regular, normal human being. He wouldn't do anything like that. But if you're somebody that thinks that's cool and funny, and you think that that is a quality that would make you want to vote for him, then you're a fucking idiot.
Dangerous. Like, it's dangerous. That's dangerous. That's so crazy. What did the guy do? I promise not to jump on Fauci and beat him up. Like, it's so dangerous. It didn't make any sense.
No, it didn't make any sense. And it was really irritating. But, you know, like I said, at some point, you've got to find a way to shame these people. And I'm going to play a couple clips, by the way, that is a good start. But let's listen. Everybody, if you want to, just kind of turn the volume down so you don't have to hear her voice as loud. But here's Marjorie Taylor Greene in her Super Bowl. This is the biggest moment of her political career, is that now she gets to go one-on-one with America's devil, Dr. Fauci.
Appropriate? Do the American people deserve to be abused like that, Mr. Fauci?
She did put on more makeup and she got her hair. She did do it, didn't she?
Yeah, she put more weave in
Yeah, she did something there. And by the way, this is her thing.
her extensions.
She refuses to call him Dr. Fauci,
Yeah.
just like, you know, I refuse to call Donald Trump President Trump, but I think, you know, we have probably more of a reason, but that's neither here nor there. Let's listen to this idiot continue with what she thinks is her greatest
So
moment.
embarrassing.
Because you're not doctor. You're Mr. Fauci in my few minutes. No, I don't need your answer. I want to talk about this right here.
Mr. Chairman,
Fauci,
objection.
I reclaim my
Mr.
time.
Objection.
By the way, real quick, you could see the clown over his left shoulder, sort of with the buzz cut. And then there's a bald guy over his right shoulder that they're both back there. They're like the two fucking old Muppets up in the balcony making fun of everybody. That's basically what they are, except the Muppet dudes were hilarious and cool. These two are clowns and dorks.
I reclaim my time. I reclaim my time, Mr. Raskin.
Gentlelady will suspend.
Mr. Chairman,
Point of order.
just in terms of the rules of decorum, are we allowed to deny that a doctor is a doctor just because we don't want him to be a doctor?
Yes, because in my time, that man does not deserve to have a license. As a matter of fact, it should be revoked, and he belongs in
Gentlelady will
prison.
suspend. The gentlelady should recognize the doctor as a doctor.
Stupid.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is this what we have become?
Yeah, I mean, it's become such a fucking joke, Congress. I mean, this is something, as much as we could think about in the past politics of other politicians we didn't like. I mean, I have never seen somebody just, I forget about being, she's too smart. She's just so stupid that she thinks she's smart, and what she thinks she's doing. Obviously, she lives in a bubble where she's a hero there. And this for her was her time to shine.
Right. She got the clowns in the back laughing.
Yep.
So she's not a doctor.
She had an audience.
Like, why would you even fucking say that with all of his education and then yours? Like, you just, that alone means you're really fucking stupid and not aware of yourself. Like, girl, what?
Well, I think she's made clear for years that she's not aware of her own stupidity. I will say, though, you could tell Jasmine Crockett fucked her head up, because days after that, oh my, she was trying to pose. She was showing pictures of her in a bikini later.
Yeah,
she was,
That's why she's like that now.
Yep.
Like, she's trying to dress differently so it doesn't, so it hides her, but like feminizes her a little bit. Yeah,
that's exactly right. And I think Jasmine really got to her. And, you know, again, I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene, see, sometimes when somebody gets to you, it's because you have the feeling, or you have the sense that they may be smarter than you, better than you, whatever that feeling is.
Yeah.
But Jasmine Crockett, she's like, she can't get to me. I will fuck her up the day I'm ready. And she was ready to do it that one day.
Like, what words? Fuck the like,
right.
Jasmine Crockett's a whole attorney, girl. You want to debate? That's who you want? You really?
Yeah.
Okay, girl. I would love to see it.
And we did. And you see what it did to her. It really got to her. And quite frankly, like I said, not something that I think, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, Lana, but I think you would agree, this is not the decorum overall that we want to see in Congress.
It's gross.
Yeah.
It's just, one thing, he's a doctor. The other thing is, like, he's an elderly man. So you're so wildly disrespectful to this old man who just tried to save. It's like, they're calling him a murderer, and it's like, how is he the murderer? Like, which is it? COVID wasn't dangerous, and we didn't need to lock down. People could just walk around. Or you're saying he caused this leak and caused COVID that killed all these people, but then he also tried to have people social distance and wear a mask. Like, what are you saying right now? Like, it doesn't make sense.
I will tell you what, I could not stand wearing that mask. I promise you I didn't. And I will tell you, there were times I went to the store, drove all the way there, and realized, fuck, my mask is at home. So I had to turn all the way around, go home and get it, and go all the way back. That for me does not mean I am ready to throw Dr. Fauci in jail. This is so bizarrely stupid. And for many Americans, too many Americans, what she is saying was phenomenal. It was gold. It was just music to their ears.
Did those people not lose anyone to COVID?
Sure they did.
Because I just don't understand.
Yep.
They lost people to COVID, but we're blaming Fauci for what? Because Fauci's not the fucking president who knew that it was coming down the pipe and didn't say anything. And we heard him tell what's his name during it.
Bob Woodward.
Yeah, Woodward. Hey, this is really bad. It's really contagious. It's in the air, and I'm not gonna alarm. I'm not gonna tell anyone.
Well, that was clear. I mean, he would say one thing in private and say a different thing in public. And again, it was one of those things because he thought the only reason why he did not warn everybody is he thought that was going to hurt him politically. The ironic thing is the way he handled it is what hurt him politically. Not, if he would have acted more like a leader, I'm afraid that he would have probably won again. But he didn't act like a leader. He wanted to come out and say, this thing's going to be gone by April. Don't worry about it. Then April came by and the numbers were triple the time he said it.
Right.
And people were like, but you still have people in the streets. You're taking away my freedoms. You're taking away my rights. And I've got to say, I think I've said this before on my old podcast, I think it's pretty insulting to, some Americans that you're telling them that their freedoms are being taken away because you got to put a fucking piece of cloth over your mouth. What are you, fucking nuts?
Yeah, but want to control women's bodies and when they can, be pregnant and when not to be pregnant, and when you can do IVF and you can't, what to do with your embryos. But don't tell me to wear that mask. My body.
Well, we talked about, and this, she was shaken up. Old MTG was shaken up again after this because this was her Super Bowl. But of course, a couple people blasted her. One was Jared Moskowitz, which, by the way, is turning into a superstar. This guy has some classics. And, it is funny. Again, at the end of the day, do we want our politics to be this way? No, but it is. And if we want to go back to what Donald Trump said earlier, people have a breaking point at some point, and the Democrats aren't going to sit in there and let these clowns just clown them all day. Right. So what's going to happen is much smarter people are going to clown you the fuck back. Right. And this, when they say it, it's going to sting way more because it's true when they say it about you. What you're saying has no validity whatsoever, except for in some goofy MAGA world that nobody gives a fuck about. But this is Jared Moskowitz referring to the gentle lady.
Dr. Fauci, good to be with you here today. I was not here, but I saw a member of this committee questioned whether or not you represent science and tried to make that in some offensive way. I just want you to know most Americans don't think she represents Congress. So one of the things I hear now you double Fauci. So I don't want you to be offended by that.
That guy, he's had some classics.
That was a good one. I didn't see that one.
That was really good, but I'm about to play a clip from me. Again, I hope I'm not overhyping this, but Jamie Raskin had one of the greatest. Did you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I didn't see Moskowitz.
This was so good that I don't know. I'm just going to play the clip and then you guys decide whether or not you think I'm overhyping it or not. I will be honest with you. I don't care if you think I'm overhyping it because I'm still going to go, this was fantastic. Jamie Raskin.
Join my colleague from Florida in apologizing to you that some of our colleagues in the United States House of Representatives seem to want to drag your name through the mud. They're treating you, Dr. Fauci, like a convicted felon. Actually, you probably wish they were treating you like a convicted felon. They treat convicted felons with love and admiration. Some of them blindly worship convicted felons.
A fucking plus in my classroom. That guy is going to be able to advance to the next class. He doesn't even have to take any more tests. That was phenomenal for me. Tell us in the comments if you think it was just as good, or email. I don't care.
Now there's one that's better, but keep going.
What?
Did you see Eric Swalwell?
Yes. No, that was today though.
Oh, that was today. Oh,
and that was in the hearing.
Merrick Garland.
Yeah, get Merrick Garland.
Yeah,
where another guy, it's just, again, these hearings are so ridiculous. But that was a good one. That was a good one, and I wish I had it. I would play that one, but I don't know. I just loved that
one too. Oh, sorry.
No, which one?
So when Matt Gaetz was up there talking, doing this thing with Merrick Garland, yelling at him, who said it about Matt Gaetz you're talking about weaponizing the justice system when you're walking around free after being investigated?
Damn it. And I'm trying to remember because that was a good one too. That was really good. And that's like I said, that's why these guys are doing such a great job of firing back, because the old Democrats would not have done that. And especially under Nancy Pelosi, she had been like, nope, we ain't doing that shit. We're going to be on point. We're going to do that. And now, you got Hakeem Jeffries there, who I think you have a younger group that is just like, maybe we're not going to put up with this shit. Maybe we are going to fire back and, let these people know that we're not your doormats. And by the way, we're better at this than you are.
What sucks though is that, MAGA don't see the other part. They only see what Fox News is going to cut up in a clip or whatever is cutting up in a clip. So they don't ever see the response. They will never see the response unless, they, get it on Twitter when we, tweet it and then they see it. And
right. Or they were covering it live. But, again, the people that are watching it while they're covering it live, they're more apt to flip the channels and to go to maybe, and not that they love CNN or an MSNBC, but they're more apt to flip the channels during commercial breaks or whatever. I mean, I think the hardcore Fox people, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of hardcore Fox people that watch it during the day, but I think you have a higher percentage that might watch it during the day that would be more apt to listen to more news. But they're not playing those clips, you're right, on Jesse Waters or Sean Hannity or Laura Ingraham. Those clips are not flying there.
Yeah. No. Unfortunately.